Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me on our live trainings about everything health with hormonal balance, nutrition, movement, supplements. What are the myths? What are the actual facts? So, I've been in the alternative field for almost 30 years since 1996. Actually, it will be 30 years. And I know Cindi has a plethora years of experience. Cindi, we never actually talked about that. How many years do you have?
Oh my gosh, just from my own health, close 30 years when my daughter, I had gestational diabetes. So yes, so it's been that long as well.
Okay, awesome. So between the two of us, we have over 60 years of education in the alternative health field. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited to bring Cindi on with me, where we are going to be discussing all things, well, not all because that's a broad topic, but giving you the ninja hacks and the ninja tricks to what GLP-1 is and what peptides are, and is it not? Is it like another fad, kind of like what the Ozempic was? No hate, but we also know that the side effects of that were not publicly formed. So Cindi is here to give us all the information. I trust her. We have been friends on Facebook for at least 3 years that I can think about going back. And sometimes I want to steal her work.
Well, thank you.
So I figured I'd better just bring her on versus just going in on the down low. And with that, Cindi, with all the credit, with all the accolades, I'd love to turn the mic over to you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. I love talking about everything like holistic health and
Gosh,
myths. But yeah, so I started my own health journey 30 years ago, and then I just started adding more and more, like I went health and life coaching. My husband got diabetes, then I went down that nutrition rabbit hole, and five nutrition certifications later, including functional nutrition, um, menopause. I just, every time I learned something new, I was like, okay, I need to like learn more about it. So that was really the start of it, my own health journey, basically gestational diabetes and Hashimoto's 25 to 30 years ago. So, and that was before like the internet wasn't very big then, and looking things up, I had to figure it out all on my own, how, what to eat. And I had to make a lot of food because they didn't have 20 different ketchups on the, on the shelves. It was just one, and I didn't want my kids eating sugar. So I just started making everything from scratch, and then it really hasn't stopped. I'm still doing that. So, and now I'm into the menopause area. So,
I think that's where we all started is just looking at ingredients or looking at like home products or beauty products or any of us that are considered, I guess the old school would be crunchy.
yes, we were crunchy before there was a name for it. So, yes.
Right. I know my kids now call me an almond mom, and I'm like, well, that
Oh,
sounds better
I
than
know.
crunchy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, Cindi. So let's start with the GLP-1. I know this is a super hot topic in my field, and a lot of menopausal groups that promote medicinal and alternative help for hormonal balance,
Mhm.
especially in the perimenopause and postmenopause era.
Yes.
What is it? What does it do? What are the like benefits of it? What are some side effects of it?
Right, right. Yes, it's very well, these started as diabetic drugs many years ago before anyone knew that they were even around, until all of a sudden people were losing weight. And then it became popular as a weight loss drug. And then there was that shortage where no one could get it. And then they opened up the compounding pharmacies to, do the compound name, instead of Ozempic, it's semaglutide and like that. So they were been around for a long time, but then everyone thinks it's like a magic pill, and so people were actually using it. Like the doctors were giving them a titration schedule, meaning every 4 weeks they upped it. They would up it by like 2.5 milligrams each every 4 weeks, and that's very, very fast paced. And then that's where a lot of the problems came from, unfortunately, the side effects. A lot of people, the muscle loss because they were losing weight too fast, and that you're losing muscle, not fat, when you're losing it that quickly. Because what muscle does way more than fat. So when you lose it, that's what you're losing. Um, but our bodies, I mean, the peptides are the short chains of amino acids, which we are, made of. We have amino acids in us, and so we produce naturally like the GLP-1 and different, peptide, in our body, like, but definitely the GLP-1, but with age or metabolic issues. I know for me, gestational diabetes, I never was declared a diabetic, but my A1C was creeping up and I couldn't figure out why I was like struggling to lose weight all these years until recently it clicked. I'm like, oh my gosh, Hashimoto's that, and then menopause. I just have been behind the eight ball, so to speak, with my metabolic health. And no matter how hard I tried to do it, the right way, like, tracking macros or strength training. I was doing that for 10 months and I lost 7 pounds in 10 months. That's how hard it is for my body to like let go of the fat. But then that's also when I discovered nervous system too. So that was also part of it. But so metabolically, that's why I started a GLP-1 because I knew that my body, I could try everything and just keep going. And it was just hard. And then you just beat yourself up and you get discouraged and you just can't live like that. Just can't be negative on yourself all the time. And so now there's been more research, especially with like microdosing versus the titration where you're just upping it from 2.5 to 5 to 7.5 to 10 to like 12 and a half to 15. Like 15 is the max dose. And to get there within 6 months, that's a lot.
That is
Is that, or 5 months. So, I mean, that's a lot to put on your body. So I was like, I'm going to try microdosing and I'm just going to keep it at the non-therapeutic dose. 2.5 milligrams is not even a real dose. It's just to get your body used to it for 4 weeks. And then you can start moving up and then you can monitor symptoms and stuff. So I stayed on 2.5 for 12 weeks and lost 14 pounds. And then I just upped it to 3.25. So it's like it's still a non-therapeutic dose. 5 milligrams is the one that is they consider like your first dose. But it's like no side effects. I'm losing barely like maybe a pound a week averaging, which is safer. Half a pound to a pound because you're not losing muscle. When you're losing, I hear people losing, oh, I lost 30 pounds in a month, and I'm like, oh my God, that is so not safe.
Mm.
Plus, you're not learning how to keep it off when you're losing it fast. By
Yes.
doing it slow, your body, can get used to keeping it off as you're losing it. But yeah, so I mean, it's just another tool, and especially I know for menopause, like once you go, you're done with perimenopause, that's when that's the one symptom that's more visible. Perimenopause, you get all the symptoms that everyone can see, pretty much like the hot flashes and things like that. But postmenopause, weight gain is like the only visible one because you have like memory, brain fog and other ones that you don't really see. But your body with your nervous system and you've lost estrogen and all the other progesterone, you don't have that protective barrier anymore inside your body. And even with hormones, like I'm on bioidentical hormones, but it's still not the same, as your original hormones, unfortunately.
So what I'm hearing you say is like with the microdosing, one, it's safer. So you don't have the muscle loss, like you
Yeah,
do when you start off with a macro dose that the doctors like to start people at.
yeah.
So with a microdose, it is a safer weight loss. And you touched on something that I want to add information to as well is that time to learn how to keep it off is so crucial because our body is programmed to have a certain amount of fat cells. And
Right.
then when we accumulate more, it kind of is like a reboot of the system, like an upgrade. Cindi and I
Mhm.
were talking about earlier of like, I wish they would just stop changing platforms and upgrading platforms because we just get so confused. The body is no different. And
Yep.
so when we gain weight and then we maintain, not even maintain that weight, but like keep holding that weight on and maybe bringing on more and more, then the body is consistently thinking that I need to keep these fat cells. So when we rapidly lose weight, whether it be actual fat or muscle, when we stop treatment, when we stop the workout regime, the body's like, okay, let's get that back up,
Yes.
right? And then it all comes back. And this is why
Mhm.
cardio is also not as heightened for
Yep.
perimenopause and postmenopause, because the more cardio you do, eventually you're going to have to up level that and up level
Mhm.
that and up level that to keep maintaining. And that's why the muscle mass is so crucial, because we have to switch to weight resistant training or body resistant training, calisthenics. I can never say that right,
Yeah.
you know, to maintain our muscle. And another really key important to that, with like that does affect hormones and how we age, is if we're not doing weight resistant training, if we're not putting the pressure on our bones, then our bones get weak and we are
Mhm.
more prone to osteoporosis and bone density goes down. And I know this because I had to learn how to walk again on shattered bones. So the
Yeah.
more pressure I put on those bones, the more the body said, okay, let's build them stronger.
Yeah.
Let's build them stronger. So we're like diamonds inside. We're fantastic. But that's why cardio no longer works for perimenopause and postmenopause women. And that's why the GLP is so great in microdosing. All right,
Yeah.
that's my little spiel. Cindy, you can have the stage back.
Oh my gosh. No, but it's true. And on also like the our bodies are stressed by all the cardio. So the more you have to do, we're more receptive to stress in menopause. And so then that just causes your body go in fight or flight. And then it holds on to all that weight that you're trying to lose. So it's that hamster wheel that you can't get off of. But yeah, it's a new threshold. Like, yeah, it's you've hit your body won't respond anymore. And then when you try more, it doesn't work. Peptides in the body, I mean, they are messengers in our body and they will bind to specific receptors and send signals that tells your body like what actions to take. And so, like for example, one peptide might signal to your brain to release more growth hormone, while another one supports tissue repair and or can improve insulin sensitivity, which those kind of fall like the GLP-1s, the GIPs, those help with insulin sensitivity, which also gets messed up without estrogen. Um, and also some help regulate the stress response pathway. So not they're not like everyone GLP-1s are the most popular peptide, but there are so many other ones out there that people use. A lot of bodybuilders use them to help with recovery. I use a different one too for my osteoarthritis in my shoulder. And, I don't do it in my shoulder because that would no that would freak me out. But there's just it's we have these peptides, but then again, just as our bodies age, and especially in women, estrogen is not there to be protective and be a barrier anymore. So then things just either just stop working or just fade away as we get older. Just, like our cartilage or, things like that that just naturally wear out as we get older. But yeah, the microdosing definitely, I mean, no one wants to be, sick trying to like lose weight, and then muscle too, when you build your muscle, it supports the fragile bones that because we are losing bone mass as we get older. But it also burns calories when
Mhm.
you're just sitting
Yeah.
watching Netflix or something. It literally, because the more muscle you have, the more it burns without you trying. So, if that's not incentive enough, for people to want to start, strength training, but that it's that weight bearing that you were talking about that really helps to build it. So I used to ride a bike a lot in the stationary bike, but I'm like, that's not even weight bearing. That's just cardio. But now I
Well,
just
unless
lift
you have the
weights.
resistance on 10 and then you're like pushing.
Exactly. Yes. And I would do that. I'd put the resistance on
Yeah.
sometimes, but it's like sometimes I would just forget. But or
Mhm.
unless you're outside and you hit like the little inclines that feel
Yeah.
like a hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely strength training. And you want to start that in like definitely perimenopause, even if you don't even know you're in perimenopause. Like my symptoms were so mild, I really didn't know I was in it. And I wish I had started then instead of 5 years postmenopausal. Because then I'm like trying to play catch up,
Well, it's a rat race
to
then, right? Like it
yeah.
becomes a rat
Hmm.
race. And I would almost say like start it before peri. Like if you don't have
Exactly.
symptoms, start it before because
Yep.
we know it's coming. And actually
Yep.
the I want to be careful how I say this. The more physical fitness that we have, okay? So I'm not citing a certain body type. I'm
Right.
just saying like the more strength that we have in our body, and I'm not talking bodybuilder because
Right.
that's unhealthy in some aspects on its
Yes.
own.
Yeah.
I've helped train them, I know. Um, it's, the less symptoms, the less
Yeah.
hormonal symptoms that we will have,
Hmm.
right? So
Yes.
the weight resistant training doesn't be it's even more important in these hormonal phases because what we did when we were teenagers no longer works because one, we're a different human being than we were when we were
Yeah.
teenagers. This is all different cells, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's so important that we start sooner rather than
Yes.
later because then it does become a rat race.
Hmm.
And women, and I say this all the time, women were never meant to suffer or endure. I love that endure
Sure.
these symptoms. And it's actually
No.
only in the last 60, 70 years that these symptoms have actually started coming to the forefront. And there's a lot of reasons why.
Mm.
And one of them is movement.
Hmm.
We are the
Yeah, it's
most
because we move
sedentary.
less now.
Yeah, we are the most sedentary
Hmm.
now than ever before because of all the computer jobs like we're doing right now. It's fantastic.
Exactly.
Look at us model. Strike a pose.
Yeah. I could have been walking on my walking pad, but that's okay.
No. Ew, don't put me to shame.
I thought of that, so that's why I didn't.
Right. Another thing you mentioned stress, and if it's okay
Yeah.
with you, I'd like to show some like
Yes.
evidence of
Yeah.
how that affects,
Definitely.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to get onto the right page here. So what I'm going to show you is the gluteocorticoids and the mineral corticoids. Now, these are part of our adrenals. Now, adrenals are so important for hormonal health because they actually take over making our estrogens once our uterus and our ovaries start going into retirement. But how does stress affect that? Well, adrenals is our stress response. So what you're
Yep.
seeing here, I know from my education that if we are flat out pedal to the metal, that is acute stress.
Yep.
If we are bottoming out, this is more of a chronic stress. So when we're children, our adrenals make our hormones. Children are not meant to be stressed. We have
Mhm.
no life experience. We have not had divorces. We have not had children. We have not had houses burned down. We've not had spousal betrayal. We've not had the stress of raising children.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? But Mother Nature has a sense of humor and says, hey, after you've experienced all of this, we're going to get the adrenals to start kicking in again. And this lady here is showing signs of chronic stress. Everything is on the low spectrum. And when I
Mhm.
get into the mineral corticoids, which is in the alternative world, adrenal fatigue, she's got no resources.
Yep.
She's like barely functioning. So, how is her adrenals gonna even help her with hormonal imbalance? So, this is where I come in and I say, okay, let's get your life to match and let's get you on other supplements that will give you the
Mhm.
boost to help heal those adrenals
Yeah.
so that they can start producing the estrogens that you need for this phase of life. So, stress is a huge one. And
Yeah.
if you don't know what resources you're lacking. You know, you can say, I'm meditating, I'm going on retreats, I'm doing the somatics, I get massage, I go for chiro and physio. Like I do all the things. But if
Hmm.
you're not actually bringing it into life and
Yes.
making your life sync with what you want your cells to do, I say this all the time. And Cindy, you can argue with me, okay? Totally. I invite that if you think I'm wrong, okay? You can take the GLP-1, you can take all the peptides, you can take all the supplements, you can do all the yogi stuff and somatic stuff. But if you don't change your life to match, right? And are the tools you use for stress reduction actually working for you,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's some scientific evidence that we know. That's what looking at the metabolites versus the blood serum can show you, because the blood will not show that up. Show that up. Look at me speak the gooder English. Okay, so anything else that you would like to wrap up, Cindy, that we did not cover that you think is super important that we touch on?
You did bring up, just now, like it's a tool. GLP-1 is a tool, peptides, even supplements. You can't just go and take whatever you want. You need to know what you're lacking
Yes.
to, I'm taking some for menopause, like a DIM and, different ones, my magnesium, different ones that vitamin D, because I did get tested and I was a little on the low side. So I'm
Yeah.
not taking a lot. And, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So, um, but yeah, it's a tool and it may not be for everybody. Like, I knew I had metabolic issues and I struggled myself to lose the weight because I tried. I worked out, I counted my macros because I'm a macro coach and, everything. And that didn't work. So it wasn't like all of a sudden I was like, well, I'm just going to do this just to see, I only need to lose 10 pounds. So I'm going to get on. It's like, no, not unless you legitimately have a reason like insulin resistance, diabetes, or something like that. But yeah, everything you use is a tool. Your nervous system, that's a big part of it. And there's so many hidden stressors. Over exercising, like we mentioned, under eating. If you're one that ate 1,200 calories for decades, you've already like messed up your metabolism. You can fix it. You just have to eat more. And actually eating more as we get older and, perimenopause to menopause is a good thing because then your body isn't going into fight or flight thinking, oh my God, when am I going to get food? Let's hold on to the fat that we have.
Yeah.
It can be safe. So with all of, yes, and if you like to meditate or any of your calming activities will help your nervous system as well as other just little habits that you can do, especially in the morning. Like make sure you're eating protein before you eat your caffeine or drink your caffeine because your cortisol is already high and the caffeine is just it's a stimulant and it's going to cause it to stay higher, which as a stress hormone we don't need. You can still have your coffee. I still drink mine, but I have my protein first. So there's so many little things you can do to help your nervous system that doesn't require an injection if
Love
you don't want one.
No, love that, right? Because again, it's not a cure-all,
Yes.
right? And if you're viewing it as a cure-all, and this is why I like you. This is why I'm like, maybe I'll steal your stuff. No, I'm kidding.
Sure, go
Right?
ahead.
No, this is why I wanted to bring you on because you are more balanced. You're not a like, oh, just do this, just do that, and you'll be fine, right? You
Yeah.
are taking a whole body, mind, spirit approach. So, how can people reach out to you? I've tagged you in the Facebook feed so they can reach you through there. But also, what is your preferred way? Sorry, I got to sneeze.
Bless you.
Um, what is your preferred way of people getting in touch with you?
I mean, they can reach out to me through Facebook or my website is cindystickle.com. Really easy. That there's a contact form in there, or I also have like my Instagram link, icon and stuff in there. And I have some freebies on my website too. There's like a menopause symptom quiz and things like that. So you get right on my email list and then you'd be, able to like reach out to me through email or, it's Cindy at cindystickle.com too.
I got it.
It's
It's
also,
in there. I tagged it.
yes.
It's all good.
So yeah, but yeah, that's probably the easiest.
Okay, so you heard it. She's got freebies for you. So if nothing else, you're going to go to her website and collect those freebies so that you can actually start
Mm,
changing things now. Okay. And I know Cindy, she does not mass email you. She does not
no,
spam you. She does
no.
not, send you 5 gazillion emails in a day. So don't be afraid to put in your information because she's not like that. She is
Mm-mm.
very similar to me, where like our emails go out every now and then. So maybe you'll get one a week, maybe two. So that said, Cindy, I want to thank you for joining us. Everyone who's been watching live, please, if you've got questions, put them in the comments. And for those of you that have registered, we are going to stop the live and we're going to jump into the conversation with you right now. So, ciao, Facebook land, and we're going to